Sustainability is indeed a very hot topic at the moment. So next to cost and service improvements, also sustainability has become important. One of the key barriers is actually that the real definition of sustainability, and then especially how to operationalize it into new services or new added value creation, is a main problem. And you as a company can define certain benefits that you have defined, but you're often working in a supply chain with other partners. So that means that also the other partners have to agree upon the definition of your value proposition, the definition of what sustainability for you is. Another thing that's very important and can act as a barrier is that you have three dimensions within sustainability. It's the people, planet, profit dimension. And whereas profit and planet are relatively clear, especially the social indicators are quite clear. So the definition of KPIs and especially how to measure them is a tricky part as well, can be a barrier as well. But also in the environmental indicators, you can have a certain KPI, for example, on emission, but the point of dynamics is there in place. So if you look at, for example, the indicator CO2 emission, and you relate that to a transport unit, if you want to calculate it from the unit of transport towards processes, it depends upon the number of processes in the van or in the truck, what the emission of that particular product is. In other words, it depends on how you calculate it, what the real values will be. And therefore, we need standards, we need agreements upon how to measure it, so that if companies are presenting their performances on the triple P bottom line, we can compare it and say that one is better than the other. The key steps in measuring sustainability performance, of course, starts with determining what you want to measure and what you want to excel in. So it really starts with defining your key performance indicator, and if you perform well on those indicators, you can indeed, let's say, benefit from that in society. So it has to do with your sustainability strategy. And there are different strategies, you know. Some companies just say there are regulations, so we have to comply to regulations. Other companies say, hey, sustainability can bring us much more information on the processes that we perform and can help us improve those processes. So let's say a process improvement strategy. But there's also a possibility to say that, hey, if I excel in sustainability, my performance will be that good that consumers and customers will appreciate me more than others. In other words, a branding strategy on sustainability. So having your strategy clear and having clear what to measure and how to measure it, so what metrics to use on each of those indicators, is key. Measuring sustainability performance can be very complicated. Of course, it depends upon the indicators you're using. There are a number of indicators when you think, for example, about carbon footprint or food miles, which are relatively used a lot, and there are some standards that can be used available. But there are also many other indicators related to sustainability, thinking about accident, thinking about employability, and all those kind of things, which are much harder to measure. So there is really a need for standards so that all those companies who are measuring sustainability on the people, planet and profit dimension can be benchmarked, can be compared, and indeed the relevant improvement options within those supply chains can be detected. Collaboration, let's say, when you look at sustainability measuring, assessment and improvement is crucial. Why? Because sustainability is not something you can do by yourself. If you have partners in the supply chain, and that can be suppliers, it can be logistic service providers, it can be customers, and if they don't have the same strategy as you, for example, you want to be excelling in sustainability performance. If your suppliers are not doing that, or if your customers are not doing that, you as a whole supply chain, and especially you as a company, will not have the benefits of that sustainability performance. So collaboration in the supply chain, agreeing upon what you want to excel in on the sustainability performance indicators is crucial. The process of measuring, assessing improvement never ends. Why not? Because the markets are changing. You see the economic situation changing, you see things happening in the world, which as a result make that the value proposition of companies is changing as well. So it means that other indicators will become important. Other indicators will have to be exchanged with other companies. You need to have standards about how do we define them, what information is needed in order to measure those performances. In other words, the process will continue forever and ever.